Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another WWE Champions video and another review. Our final Wyatt Sicks review is here, and we are ending it off with Bo Dallas, Uncle Howdy. So I have 4 builds for you guys. I thought it was going to be more, but there was some that I was like, I don't think I'll showcase them. Because I just didn't think they were quite as good as these actual 4 are. Plate options we'll get through and stuff like that as we go along. And I have the last build is saved, obviously, for last because it's the most interesting, I think, but also maybe has the most risk-reward ratio. So let's start off with this. Yes, Bo is hyped for. You can get him in the Titan shop. That I think is what mine is completely, other than I did pull 100 for him in the actual hype loop. Otherwise, yes, completely off of the Titan shop. No universal use. I do have his moment, which is going to give us multi 4, Robert 200, Black 50, and receive 50% less. I do not have the Wyatt Sicks versus American Made moment. That would add another 50% more gem and 50% more multi, and I believe receive 50% more or less possibly in there as well. So let's start with the moveset, the first build here. And that is the classic, I think, for most people, is black, yellow, yellow. So the arrival, the crescendo, and the finale. The arrival, 5 charge black. Damage is kind of iffy. Doesn't really matter, though, because this is the main thing we want. Choose one column to make it a trap burned by opponent. Deal 4.3 million damage, which is big, but we'll never have them really break it because we're going to be the one that breaks it. Because if broken by you, deal 198,000 damage and increase your yellow gem by 300% per a turn. And then deal damage and increase your yellow MP by 5. This is a very good move. 300% a trap. We're making 7 traps. A lot of increase. One of the highest ones in the entire game. Actually, you might consider him the best of like what he can actually. Well, it's still a trap. It's not just an actual like built-in like a muta is, but still very strong increase. Crescendo here, 5 charge yellow. Chooses 1 to make into snowfall, which will modify all gems below into black. And when broken by me, and then deal damage and choose a 3x1 rare to make it a pyro of yellow when we break it. Wish it was higher, obviously, for Piper Plate, but it's not. But that's fine. We're still going to get very good damage out of it. And then finally, the finale. 6 charge yellow, deal damage and choose 1 to make it a row break, and then deal damage and choose 1 snowfall and destroy. I remember him coming out and thinking this was kind of a weird build that people might not get right away. But now having him for, since December, I think, is when I got him. I got him out of the Black Friday post, which if you haven't seen, you should go check out. I'll put in the card. He's very, very strong. Obviously, before I even go into the trainers and coaches, let's talk about big thing that is just Bo himself. Obviously, if you don't know what his coach is, multi plus 6 coach for Trap, Countdown, and Juggernaut. Obviously, I still consider him the best coach in the game. I think Blackman is like right there, but I still do think Bo is just a bit more, just because so many people run multi and it's such a big deal. So you obviously want him just for that. But let's actually go into the moves now. So I have Mellow for the black and purple. We actually only need him for the black MP. It's a 5 charge move. We'll get it. I have Molly here for any color gems do 40, 30% more health, and black MP2. You do not need this. You can run someone like Hustle, Loyalty, Respect Cena for 45% yellow and 2 yellow MP. But I'm running, just 5% less damage, but we are also getting 30% more health. Also, if they -2 me in a match, like -2 MP coach, just one MP2 is not gonna. He's still gonna be loaded. So that's why we have it. I have Zombie Punk here for yellow gems do 40% more, multi 60. Now this part really doesn't matter. We just care about yellow 40. Obviously, if you don't have Punk, there are other people that do yellow gem, whoever you have. But I mean, mind you, if you have Bow, you probably have a good chunk of these people. And then lastly, we're going to end it with Steve here for any color 40%. Again, mix and match depending on what you have. Again, Striker Brett, Striker Strowman, probably a few others I'm forgetting there that you can run. Now let's get into the belt. Now, I am ranking tier 6 for now. Yes, it's going to skew the damage. Hype already skews the damage. Good news for you is I kind of have an idea of what he does. So I'm not too worried on that. We have a 150 belt. However, you might look at the plates and think, what is that? I have DX Army Assault here. Whenever you break 3 more purple, make 7 green and black. And whenever you break 4 black, generate 10 random yellow. These, I will be honest with you, are not for this build, really. I do have removal, but as someone who isn't technically a content creator, who has like a big account that can you just go through skill plate just like nothing, it's on my own account. I can't just constantly keep changing it depending on the build. So I will kind of show you some alternatives that you would probably use for this moveset. The main ones that I think stick out here, obviously this one does work, is the, where is it? There it is. Voiceless voice plate. Whenever you make 6 or more trap gems, increase your yellow gem by 300% for a turn. That works pretty well. If you want to be that person, you could run Trish Stratus Trickster instead of Molly. And this will also allow you to run a Flurry, 300 yellow, or obviously if you have one, you could run a Snowfall Flurry. I don't think it's that great for it. You could also run a Rain Royalty. Probably not the best, though, as I think the actual damage monster here is going to be the Yellow Rumble. 30 gems, generate 30 yellow. And that goes to actually the same for the basic. You can run the mini Yellow Rumble for destroy 20, generate 20. So if you had both Rumbles on him, he would just make the whole board yellow, which with our increase is pretty significant. So very good, very strong. So let's go in here and see how we do here against Big Papa Pump. All right. So we're doing a base of 280. Again, we are tier 6. We're going to put our traps up. Put them here. And that will give me my yellow. Put this right here. And I'm going to set this here. So, pretty straightforward build. The increase is really big, so it won't go off completely here, but here comes the finale. We get rid of another trap. That is one issue I have with this, is we have to get rid of 2 traps, which is technically speaking 600% increase of gem damage, which kind of sucks. But the yellows will set off, and then those extra yellow there from my skill plate will set off. Anyway, he's dead. He did not have any health left after that. This build is not bad. I know there's some things like, again, instead of Hawk Molly, you could run a Yellow MP trainer, and you can actually hit the Crescendo twice, so you can have a 6x1 technically area into yellow for the Pyro Gems. So there's a few options that you can run with that. Damage-wise, it's not bad at all. I want to say with the plates that I was running there, we're probably doing against people with similar metals and hype. I don't know if we're hitting 100 mil on that. If you have the rumbles, yeah, you'll be fine. I wouldn't be too worried on that. So that is the yellow build. It's still not bad at all, but I actually think with new plates, this other build might be better, and that's triple purple. So this is also probably his second most common build, is triple purple. And kind of for good reason. It's a very strong build, to be honest with you. And it does a lot of very, very interesting stuff here. So I need Mosh. And I need Steve as well as Dexter. Alrighty. So, triple purple, for anyone who doesn't know. 5 charge, short arm clothesline. Deal damage and increase my purple MP by 3. Then deal damage and make 10 random gems and a multis of strength 10. Very solid, low MP. Gains our other purple MP, so we don't have to be using double MP trainer or Santa Hogan. So it's always a plus. Lariat clothesline here, 8 charge purple, deal damage and increase your purple MP by 2, then deal damage and make 20 random in a row break. Not bad either. Good amount of row break. Obviously, if you had the Wyatt Sicks versus American Made, that would make another 10 additional row break. The Dragon finisher, deal 250,000 bonus damage for every row break, and then deal, what was that, 2.2 million? And destroy 20 random row breaks, so destroy them all. Pretty solid. You know, pretty simple loop. It's pretty good. Obviously, we're still running Mellow. You could run Woods. It doesn't matter as long as you get that purple 4. Mosh here is going to give us multi 1 and multi generate 5. So we're up to 15 times 11s here. We have Steve continuing just because, you know, it's going to blow up the whole board. We don't actually know, you know, what gems it's going to be instead of an actual multi-character. And obviously, we can't run Bo on himself. Now I have Dexter for row break 200 because realistically we do have 20 of them on the board, and now we're going to do a lot more damage for the bonus damage for every row break. Plate options, actually, there's a few here that we need to talk about. Down the rabbit hole, whenever you break 7 row break, generate 22 random black is pretty much a very easy, very solid skill plate to run, and it's very common to get. However, if you want to be a bit more rare, if you have one, you could run Steve Sticks and run that. So multi 6 increase black by 200, and whenever you break 6 multi, generate 30 random black. A lot rarer plate though than a down the rabbit hole, and it's probably not going to be needed here. So we have our 5 charge move here to start with, and it's going to give us our 3 purple MP, and we're going to make 15 times 15s on the board like so. Obviously, Steve 6, that would increase your black by 200%. Oh, I didn't even mention the basic plate. You can also be running a, what is it? The one that row break anniversary for another 8 times 8s, or a Huskus, the big boy plate, and Insatiable Hunger, which will give you 50% more damage as well. Now, the cool thing about this is this does allow you to hit the multi-move again, which we will. Just like that. So you would have 400% on the boost for black if you run Steve Sticks. So it's very solid stuff, and obviously, you know, we're going to break a good chunk of multis. Now, the reason why I like to double down is you are losing some row break. Obviously, there's no longer 20 row break on board. However, especially for Steve Sticks, you want to keep those multis on the board so that the 30 black will connect them because that's our highest damage. I didn't even look at the bonus damage there. I did 18 mil, but Hype definitely does do some stuff there. So low end, I've done about 88, 90-ish mil with the Insatiable Hunger and Down the Rabbit Hole way of this. I've never tested Steve Sticks. Obviously, I'm guessing it does way more. You're probably looking closer to probably 150, I would guess, at least. Here, we're going to run this one more time as I didn't look at the bonus damage on the finisher, and then we're going to quickly go into a tag match because we do have multis in this build. So here we go. MP goes up. because the great thing about the fin is it is giving us a bit of unblockable on top of it. On top of our gem build. So here we go. 6.2. Okay, I don't think that's right. That's probably a bug, because I don't think we're doing that much damage. What's that, 6.2 million? No, it doesn't do that much. I think it does like 1.2, I want to say. I want to say it does 1.2. It does definitely not do that. As you can tell, it does not do that. Because there again, there you go. So that would be why you would want Steve Sticks. So then you would connect, hopefully with these other multis here, and make them black. So yes, you would obviously want to run those plates that I mentioned. Obviously, if you want to put a Steve Stick on him, he's not a bad placement for it. So I don't hate it at all. All right, let's go do a quick tag match with him, with this build, and then we'll move on to build 3. And for anyone who doesn't know, Wyatt Sicks link here. Multiply gems generated from moves will increase their strength by 6. So a significant boost to have a character. There we go. So now there you go. We're gonna make 15 times 21s. As you can see, so very much a lot of gems. A lot of gems are being shocked here. Roll breaks go out. I would love to see them do a roll break 500% ultimate plate. I think this build would be a lot better with it. And there we go. And we're gonna drop them. Again, that's why down the rabbit hole or Steve Sticks is definitely what you would want. Steve Sticks is obviously better because also you could run a black mini rumble on top of your Steve Sticks to really guarantee some damage as well. So, a bunch of options on that build. I like it a lot, actually. I think there's a lot of kind of unique things it can do. But let's move on to build 3, which is a variation, actually, on triple purple. It is black, purple, purple. So now we're getting to more of the weird stuff, to be honest with you. We're getting a little bit different, and you know, we're getting a little bit more out of the box, I should say, in terms of a character. And once again, we're going back to Punk. So we have seen these moves all before. We're using the Arrival, the trap gems that'll increase my gem by 3%, increase my yellow by 3%. We're gonna make we're gonna increase purple by 2 and make 20 random row break, and then we're gonna do the finisher, destroy them all, and do bonus damage on them. Entourage is going to be Mellow and Woods here, so we get 8 MP. That's actually 9. So we get that move turn 1, and also it gives us the black MP because it's a 5-charge move. And we're going to continue to run Steve, and now we're running Punk again. Now, this build functionally only really works if you have the plates on him. The plates for him are Mini Yellow Rumble, and normal Rumble plate. At least normal Rumble. But Mini Rumble would also be appreciated. So he makes the whole board yellow after this. And I will show you why this makes him work oh so much better. Boom. So what you do, you're just going to put the press down, just like that. We're going to just put him here. Doesn't really matter. We would have this move full, and this will increase our purple by 2. So it'll give us the finisher no matter what. So the idea is this, right? Each trap gem is going to give us 300%. We're going to do a little bit of bonus damage on it. Like so. We go up the board. We get a whopping 7 300% increases, and then you would make the whole board yellow. With that 700, with that, not 700%, 7 300% increases on top of it. So it's a simple build. It does require You know, I think a rumble really in order to function correctly. Otherwise, yes, we did kill, but it did not. It won't do as much damage as the other two in general, unless you have at least, I would say, ultimate rumble on him. Mini rumble would still be good, obviously, to have, and if you have both of them, the better. So now let's do the final build, which is also the most, you know, risk reward. Also, just really interesting. That's tricolor. Tricolor is really odd for bow because it does something like it can do a lot of damage. It can miss. I will give you that. This is not what I would consider a guaranteed build, and to be honest with you, you know, it has its issues and it has a hell of a lot of reversals. But it's really, really interesting to build. I know Zoro, I think, did a video on it, and I was thinking about this build when I got Bo before he even put that video out. But I just want to show you guys it myself because it's really, really interesting. So obviously the arrival's still here. We now have the crescendo back in. We have the snowfall black and then the 3x1 pyro and our short arm making the multis. And we are once again still running mellow. So we get the black, which will increase my LMP, and then we're gonna get the purple because these are 5, 5, and 5. Smash is gonna give us multi increase by 1 and create 5 more. Punk, obviously, because we're making a lot of yellow, and then we're gonna keep Steve on here. Now, this is actually why I have these plates on him. It's for this build. You know, the 3 purple makes 7 green black, and also whenever you break 4 black, generate 10 random yellow. It makes him missing a lot less likely. Now, this build is very odd. I'm going to show you this a couple times because, yes, it is very weird. And it's kind of board dependent, but it's still really, really interesting. So first off here, the board isn't very good, really at all. But we're gonna make this work here. So there's a few ways you can do it. I preferably like to use the snowfall into the trap gems, into the pyros, but for this, there's no really great board matching, so we're just gonna put the snowfall right here, with the pyro here, and you're gonna put them all these down. We then are going to swipe, and we see how we did 42. So that's what I mean by a miss. Is the pyro stuff doesn't fully trigger sometimes. I don't know why it doesn't, to be honest with you. Like, why it doesn't trigger. Because I've had it where I think on the other side of the board, we would do the same swipe with one multi, and I would do like 300 million. So, let's run that again, because again, yeah, that's what I mean by the risk-reward build here. Again, not really that good of a board. Not a lot of options. At all, actually. Man. Okay, let's do that. I think I can make that work. This is what I mean by the build. It's so weird for how it works. And mind you, when it works, it works. Right? When it works, it's gonna hit. So here, we're gonna put this down. Go, and 381. So there we go. I would stamp that pretty good. And to be honest with you, 381 million is the low end of this. It's a low end damage build for him, to be honest. I've seen this to do well over a billion damage on his own. Completely turn one. It just kind of depends on, you know, how the board favors you, where the board kind of is looking here. Don't get me wrong, a lot of factors to be introduced. But yeah, that's why I like the snowfall though, because again, it triggers that 10 yellow plate. Could be so desperate with it. There we go, it triggers that. 510 million. Obviously, it's doing a bit less than that. You know, do the hype in tier 6 and stuff, but still, I can tell you that's going to kill just about anybody. Let's run this now in a tag, because in a tag, this moveset actually gets better. In a tag match here, I'm going to show you one tag here with Dex, and then we're going to flip it, and Joe is going to be first, and then we're going to run Bo in the back. As you can see, once again, not really a great board placement. It's not anything really I would like to have. So we're going to have to try the pyro thing again and see if this actually works this time. I'll put that there. I'm going to put that there. Put these down. Times 21's on the board. Here we go. $520 billion. Not 20 billion. 520 million. Not bad at all. But the actual true version of this build is when Bo is in the back with Joe. It's kind of weird. How that works, but it's much better when you run Joe. Now, Joe's build, we're going to be running him with Butch, King, and we have -2, and then we have Santa Hogan, because we mainly want this move and that move. So here we go. And this will actually show you the true capability. Now, the reason why this works is actually because, as you can see here, Joe can always make sure there's a build at the top with his choose yellow. He always can. And then here you set at the bottom to create a 4 break. You reduce your owner's tag like so. You put down the traps. Put that down. And we're going to put it, I don't know, here, I guess. Throw them down. Boom. So we're hitting all of those times 21. Boom. There they are. They're all mine. Put down my other 10. And as you can see, we hit so hard, the ref stopped counting. Which I believe the ref stops once the damage is over 2 billion. I believe is when he stops doing it. So we did over 2 billion. I don't know. It's a lot. It is a lot. We'll run that one more time here. But yeah, when you get the ref to stop counting like that and the game doesn't know, it means there's so much damage that it's over the cap, I think, that the damage cap they had to calculate. It gets past that. So here, we'll actually put it, let's see, like here maybe? So then we can 4 break it like that, and we can keep all of these. So we'll do that. Here we go. Put the traps down. Put down the snowfall. Pyros come down. And then we make our 15 times 21s. And then we switch. Just like that. There we go. 1.9 billion. Again, a light hit in the tag match. There you go. So if you want a tag team that can do 1.9 billion turn one, I run that. That's not too bad. So let's just talk about like a little bit of what Bo is compared to the rest of the cast of tricksters here, and then we'll call it. So Bo is unique just because, like, yes, damage. If you want someone damaging, he can do it, especially in a tag match with Joe. He's going to do good. He's actually my current go-to stip tour guy because even if he misses, yeah, but if he hits, he's going to hit. Don't get me wrong, John is still probably better than him just because of his Houston Titan, Hot Tag 3, stuff like that. That he just has. So it's hard to argue John being worse than Bo. Kamala, I like Kamala. I actually still think Bo's better. Even with like Triple Purple, if you run Steve Sticks and stuff, I think they're actually pretty close. But obviously, this tricolor is so interesting to me that I do think Bo was probably just a touch better. But they are very comparable if you want to get their beefcake with everything. Is also very, very strong. I am missing Platt though, but he's still very strong, and he could also be considered better. He has a lot more guarantees. He has a lot more stuff. Kofi's on the same thing. He does a lot less damage, but he's got safety and great links as well. So something to also keep in mind. So a lot of tough calls I think to make here, and we'll go to people I don't own because there's definitely someone I know for sure. Yeah. Half JBL, half AJ, I think are just better, to be honest with you. Steve, I think a lot of people might put Steve, and I don't think I'd put Triple over Bell, but I definitely would put Orton probably over him. I know damage is kind of everything, and in the last feud, I would have put Bo number one, but because damage feuds are kind of being toned down, the tricolor build you can't just really run. Obviously, you could run black, yellow, yellow, and with the right stuff, it can do a lot of damage still. Or, honestly, black, purple, purple might be the go-to with the both rumbles, as it's probably still going to hit very hard. So options are there, and I don't really think any one of these are. You can maybe argue them, but I don't know them well enough to want to make that argument. But finally, before I end it, I just want to say, though, there is one caveat to tricolor that I didn't talk about. This moveset has, I believe, the most reversals in the game. Trap reversal, MP reversal. When Snowfall gets reversal, he'll be reversed, and he's got a Pyro reversal. He also, he has another MP reversal, doesn't really matter, but he also has multi-reversal. So he has multi-reversal, MP reversal, trap reversal, pyro reversal, and if Snowfall reversal comes out, Snowfall reversal, which means he has 5 different reversals. So it does make this build a little bit less interesting, to be honest with you, but still good damage, great damages, especially in a tag match. And then his other builds I actually think are definitely more likely going to be used if you would use him on his own. Black, purple, purple I think is very interesting. Triple purple is very interesting with Steve Sticks. Again, black, purple, purple with double yellow rumbles I think could be very strong as well. And it's just a 3-click boom. That he really, and reversal-wise, it's trap and really MP. And that's really all I would say on that one. Because he's going to increase. Oh, I didn't even mention that. If he breaks the traps and he doesn't pin, he also gets increased reversal. So technically, he could have 6. But finisher, you're never going to have that issue. So with the purple or black, purple, purple build, so you'll never worry about that. So that's what I got for Bo. A lot to talk about, a lot to go through. Yes, this was a longer video, but I want to go very in depth for him. So make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't checked out the other Wyatt Sicks reviews. And now that he's finally done, we will move on to some other people. Probably not do a group for a little bit. I mean, I have an idea of a series, a little reviewing series we're going to do as well, but we'll review some other characters just by themselves. So thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.